Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for the can't even think. Thanks for joining here on the European crossover webinar. Sorry for the delay. I've got a little bit of an emergency pet issue that I was dealing with, and actually still am dealing with. Might end up having to take the dog to the vet. But anyway, that's for the delay. So sorry about that. Let's just go on and get started. We did go on and see the look at the Nasdaq. We're finally starting to break a little bit here. We have been pushing back up in here into this area, just at that 15,057, which I had talked about as being a support level previously, which was a support. Then it became a resistance and stayed a resistance as it was broken, and we've just rolled through the 15,000. So it looks like we're going to be under pressure here. Bear with me. And let's go and take a look at what we have as far as news. Bear with me. Okay, so we did go and get the German CPI data, which was out earlier. And as we roll into the States, we do have CPI, which is going to be huge. Basically, a lot of the markets, including the dollar, people are just waiting for the CPI. I don't know if they're concerned that the shoe's going to drop. As I told you, I don't see us having any type of a taper. Until then, whether people think that's puts more pressure or not on the Fed, that'll be another thing. So that's what we have today. It's going to be the CPI at 8:30 Eastern. Take a look at where we are with the with FX. Let's go on and go across the board here on that. And we did go on and make it here to the euro dollar. To that 1713. We've been talking about that earlier in the week. Is going to be our level for this market to get to, and it looks like that's what we got to, and we're just hanging about here. Now we do have CPI, and what we'll do is we'll just go on and get engaged right now with the analysis. We're just going and pop in the bias chart. There we go. And let's just go and widen this out just a little bit more. I don't really see us making an extended move. You can see here, we are really into some support here. Push this out. And you can see where I came up with the 1713. I was going across all these touches. I just don't see a whole lot going unless they want to try and take out this area just to basically gun some stops. There's 1703, and you can see here that even confluences right here with this wick right there. That looks like that's it. 1705. And I don't see anything that's going to push this market immediately lower. I mean, maybe I'll push it. I just don't see a whole lot beyond that. I know the market is very, very weak. I just don't know if there's going to be able to sustain another leg lower at this point. I'm more apt to keep it right there at the 1713. That's the key level. If we want to put it down to 1703, but I don't think it's going to make any real difference here. We'll go and put it just for the sake of adjusting it lower, but that's huge here, the 1713. So we'll go 1703. I just don't see, I just don't see that they're going to be able to, they may be able to push a little bit of stops below, but I think it's going to be a little bit silly to say, okay, well, now it's 1695 or whatever. We're right there. We're in a very key area here. You can see this zone here between 13 and 48. So maybe they dip a hair below and then they try and pop back up and then we, consolidate here. I don't know. We'll have to see. Taking a look at the resistance. For right now, it's going to be there, 1762. And let's go on to the cable. And we have going to continue to slide down here with the cable. We saw it yesterday, almost like a spinning top here, which kind of suggests at this point that we'd be lacking momentum. So we could have maybe seen the market try to hold here or try to push back a little bit. But no, we're still sliding further. And remember, we've been eyeing this 38.13 here. They're actually already at 38.09. How much further? Once again, we have CPI. So if we come across here, let's go and pull this up. Across, you see these wicks and this body here, body with the close right there. That puts us right there. Let's just call it 37.98. And let's go with the resistance on this. This could be 38.59. So we're tightening it up quite a bit. Let's go 38.63, 38.63. Just curious as to how the dollar's going to react. I mean, we're already up against this resistance. We can certainly push higher. I just don't know if whether we're just going to take the time to consolidate here. If we are going to start to see these indices roll over, how much more pressure will there be with the dollar to push higher? And we know the Fed's not going to go on taper either, at least not now. Let's go and move into the Aussie dollar. Well, we're here hanging here near the lows, and we kept looking for potentially a move lower, and that's exactly going to stick with, which is a 72.59. Now, on the upside, it certainly doesn't look like it could make it all the way back up to 73.95. That'd be a pretty tough act to pull off, but we're still within tight ranges here. Tell you what, we'll keep it simple here, which is going to be our resistance. We will move it down to 73.78, which is not that far away, but we'll go there because it certainly looks like the Aussie's open to make that move lower. Let's go on and move into the dollar yen. We're starting to extend another leg up here in the dollar yen. We did get above, look at this key area here, 10.55. And remember at the beginning of the week, we said we had 10.55 and beyond that would be 10.97. So that's going to be our resistance here, 10.97. Next key area here. And look at that right there coming across 1097. That's the next area they're going to shoot for. And then for support, $10.31. And onto the cash dollar index. We're still pushing above, and remember, our resistance was this 93.26, which we're coming into right now. Right there, you see the right there, that body close, 93.26. Beyond that, and I think we had to go to a weekly chart to make it clearer. But beyond that, we had 93.53. I guess we go all the way up to there. That's on a weekly, but I'm going to go with this 93.26. I just don't see us. We can push higher. Maybe we do make it up to 93.53, which I think I got that from the daily, but you have to go way out. Bear with me. Yeah, I guess it's just coming across these highs. I remember I had that 93.53. But I like that 26. We'll see whether or not. I just don't know if we're going to push a whole lot, even with a stronger CPI. We may, but I'll stick with the 93.26. I just don't know if there's a whole lot of juice beyond that, but we'll find out. And there's going to be support, 92.50. Now let's go and go into Bitcoin. Man, we are still holding up very, very well here with Bitcoin. Holy smokes. It has not wanted to let off the gas. I mean, we've pared back a bit, but we're back pushing again here. We are just not letting up on this 46,412. I'm going to stay with this one. Yeah, 343, still trying to push up higher. Stick with that. And then for support, was really holding right there. 44,570. And moving on to the S&Ps. They're holding up relatively well, actually better than relatively well, whereas the Nasdaq is starting to slide. And I was wondering if we're going to start getting this divergence where we're just weaker, the same way, and maybe not to the same extent, the same way we saw Russell for a while, being much weaker and staying weaker despite what S&Ps and Nasdaq were doing. So we're still holding up very well here with S&Ps. The key support's still going to be here for now, 44.12. On the upside, I had 44.32. The market did make it up to 44.38. Coming across this body right here on the 2-hour chart, there it is, 44.34. Let's just call it 44.35. And this market is still holding up very, very well, but I just don't know what the divergence we're seeing with the Nasdaq, how well this is going to hold before it can. It's open where we can go on and slide, especially with the way that the Nasdaq is paring back. So it's going to be, we're going to go with 44.12. Beyond that 44.12, we'd be looking at 43.98. But for right now, it's going to be the 12. Let's go and put that 43.98. And let's go down. To the Nasdaq. Now I did go and share that I thought that I'm looking for a move down to 14,939. We're breaking here. I just don't know if it's going to be a straight move down here. I'm thinking that maybe when we get the CPI that we're going to try and bounce back up into these 15,000, 30s, 40s, and then whether or not we start to roll back down. I think we will get to that 14,939. And I guess for me, I'm going to go with that as far as our support, because I think we are going to eventually get there. We may have a little pause before, but that's going to be the key area here. And I think we can still even have overshoots there. But I did go in and point out on the and right now I just have it RTH. But I did go in and point out we have a whole heck of a lot of confluence here at 14,939. A lot. You can see right here, 14,928. This value area low. You've got the low here on this move. You've got the initial balance low here. You're coming in here with this POC here, right there. So I think there's potentially for some overshoots. I think it get, like I said, wild and woolly when we get down there, but I think that that's where we're going to be heading down. And let's see, for resistance, we can still stay with the profile. And we're looking at RTH right now. You can see the pop right there at 15,048, as well as the high volume area right there. So let's just go with that 15,050, which probably isn't going to be much of a surprise from where we're at. Let's go and move in now to the gold market. And we're just still stuck here. We did have our 1722, which the low yesterday was around 1718, but we popped back up again. I still like this 1722 here, so we're going to keep that. And on the upside, the key one is going to be 1754. If you were scalping this, you could probably look at 1741, but the key, which was also the rebound, which is at 1754, nothing's going to happen, and that's going to be the key area there. So there's nothing that's going to happen here until we get up to 1754. We may just bounce around, but that's the key area for them to go and break. The next one's going to be crude. Crude pushed further than what I thought that it was going to even get to, so I was really surprised. You can see here, we eventually made it up almost to $69. Wow, that was a bit of a surprise here. Even on some of the profile numbers I was looking at, I did see moves up to potentially up to things like 68.40. So this moved to 68.90. Boy, they really laid the squeeze on it, but then it was just a slow, I don't say steady, because it was just kind of like just slow, progressive lower move all the way down to almost $1 lower to 67.91. So it's interesting here, just kind of kept dripping, and we sat there and look how quiet this market what move was. You think you'd be looking at 3-minute or 5-minute charts, and not the 15 minutes that large of a time frame, but quite this, just slow. Bear with me, and bear with me. Anyway, so let me go in and move, and I'll just make a note to or reach out to Pastelli, so I was able to get a hold of him. So let me go in and where can we go with this crude oil? Let's go and take a look at it on the profile. It might make it easier. Bear with me. After I finish the webinar, I got to attend to that dog and feel bad for him. I don't know if he's he's obviously more scared of what he never gets sick, so it was just really weird. But anyway, I'm not gonna stay on that any longer. So let's go and take a look here where we stand here on the profile, try to get an idea. And you can see here at $69, that's a value area high. And we just had RTH data. We'll go with that for $69, $69.01 actually, although it stopped at $68.80. And a lot of support here at this 67.80, which I think that's where it stopped. Oh, it stopped at 67.89, so that was pretty close. Let's go with that, 67.80. And there we go. There's the bias chart for today. Once again, sorry about the delay. I got a pet emergency, which is really weird. They're never the kind of dogs or pooches that get sick or anything. So he's a real good dog. I'm really concerned for him. But anyway, but there's the webinar. I mean, see, I can't even think of a straight mind. But anyway, here's the bias chart. I'll get that posted into the room, and I'll be in a little bit later after trying to clean up the mess and take care of the dog here. But apologies for the delay. I'll get that posted, and thanks for joining us here on the European Crossover webinar.